If you see, this problem states that A and B have some money with them. A said to B, if you give me rupees 100, my money will become 75% of the money left with you. Okay, so this sentence here, if you give me rupees 100, my money will become 75% of the money left with you. This will give you your first equation. Okay, so if I start by saying, let the original amount of money with A and B be X and Y respectively. So initially, let's say A has X, rupees X, and B has rupees Y. Okay. Look at this sentence that I've underlined. If you give me rupees 100, A said to B, okay, if you give me rupees 100, my money will become 75% of the money left with you. That means if you give me, that means if B gives to A. So if B gives A
Good
rupees 100,
morning.
then what is the money with A? Initially, A had X. So now if B gives him rupees 100, A now has X plus 100. And money left with B. B initially had Y. So now B has Y minus 100 rupees because he has given 100 rupees to A. Okay. Now see, if you read this sentence, it says that if you give me rupees 100, my money will be 75% of the money left with you. My money means A is saying my money will be 75% of the money left with you. That means, according to a problem, A's money is equal to 75% of B's money, right? That is what the sentence says. Now A's money is, after giving 100 rupees to A has X plus 100 is equal to 75% of B's money. B's money is Y minus 100, right? So this will give our first equation. You cancel here 25 with 25 3 times, and this cancels 4 times. So and now you cross multiply. You get 4 times X plus 100 is equal to 3 times Y minus 100. So you get 4X plus 400 is equal to 3Y minus 300. Now you take X and Y on one side. So you get 4X minus 3Y is equal to minus 300, and you take 400 on the other side. The equation that you are getting here is 4X minus 3Y is equal to minus 700. This is our first equation. Okay. So for the first statement that I have underlined here will give our first equation. Now look at the second statement here. In the second statement, now B is telling A, instead, if you give me rupees 100, your money will become 40% of my money. Now what happens? That A is giving B rupees 100. So this time A gives, if A gives B rupees 100, then what is the money with A? A initially had X, right? Now he's giving B 100 rupees. So he has x minus 100 left. And money with B. B had initially had Y. He's getting rupees 100 from A. So he now gets Y plus 100, right? Now, what is he saying? So instead, if you give me rupees 100, your money means A's money, because B is talking to A. So A's money will become 40% of my money. That means B's money, right? So according to a problem, your money will become 40% of my money. Your money means A's money will become 40% of, let's say, let me write it in a statement here. 40% of B's money, right? Is this clear? Yes. Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now just put the values here. So you'll get the second equation. A's money here is x minus 100, 40%, and B's money is y plus 100. Okay, so this will give you our second equation. Cancel here. This will. So now you cross multiply, you'll get 5 times x minus 100 is equal to twice y plus 100. And 5x minus 500 is equal to 2y plus 200. Okay. Now take x and y on one side. And take 500 on the other side. You get 5x minus 2y is equal to 700. So these two are the equations that you are getting, 1 and 2. Now we need to solve these two equations. Let's write the equations together and then decide which method to use. So we have 4x minus 3y is equal to minus 700. And the second equation is 5x minus 2y is equal to 700. Equation 1, equation 2. So which method is suitable? Elimination method would be suitable. Let's eliminate y first. If you see, the coefficient of y is minus 3 and minus 2. If I multiply this by 2 and if I multiply this by 3, the coefficient of y will become the same, right? So that means if I multiply, I'm going to get 8x minus 6y is equal to minus 1400. Second equation, if you multiply by 3, you'll get 15x minus 6y is equal to 1400. Right? So you have minus 6y, obviously you'll subtract. This will cancel. 8 minus 15 will give you minus 7x. And this will give you minus 28,000. That means x must be equal to minus 28,000 divided by minus 7. That means you're getting x is equal to, this minus minus will cancel.
Excuse me,
4,000
sir.
times. Tell me.
So it would be 3 sevens is 21.
Which one? Okay, this will be 21.
So,
This
so
one.
while we were
Okay.
forming the
Okay, I'll just change this. $21. Okay, so now if you subtract, you'll get minus 3,500. right? So you get x is equal to minus 3500 divided by minus 7. This will cancel here. So you get 500. So you're getting x is equal to 500 rupees. So how much money did A have initially? He had 500 rupees. Now how to get the value of y? Put x is equal to 500. Let's say I put it in equation number 1. For x, so x is 500 minus 3y is equal to minus 700. So you get here 2000 minus 3y is equal to minus 700. So you get 2000 plus 700 is equal to 3y. Means you get 3y is equal to 2700. That means you get y is equal to 2700 by 3. So how much money did B have initially? 300, sorry. This should cancel. This should be 3. So this will cancel 900 times. So B had 900 rupees initially. Okay. Any question on this problem?
No, sir. No, sir.
We'll do the next problem. Now, next problem, I'll do only 2 problems today because these two problems are very big problems and they require a little bit of understanding. So we will finish the next problem. That will be a last problem for today. Should I make it a little bigger? Okay now? This is okay, right? 24.
Yes, sir.
Number 24. If you read this problem, it states that the students of a class are made to stand in complete rows. If one student is extra in a row, there will be 2 rows less. And if one student is less in a row, there will be 3 rows more. Find the number of students in the class. Now see, what do you mean by rows? Suppose students are made to stand in this manner. And this continues. Okay, and you have many such rows. And this is the last row. So the students are made to stand in these rows. Okay, so what are the rows? These are called the rows. This is row 1. This is row 2, row 3, and so on. Okay, these are called the columns. The vertical ones are called the columns. The horizontal ones are called the rows. So this is column 1. This is column 2, column 3, and so on. Okay. So now the students are made to stand in this manner, in complete rows. Okay. So if I initially, if the students are made to stand in these rows, if I say that the number of rows are X and the number of columns are Y, right? So how many students are there? Total number of students? Can you tell me how many students are there? Anyone?
So X into Y.
X into Y, exactly. So if I say let the number of rows be X and the number of columns be Y. So therefore, if the initially, if the students are standing in this arrangement, then therefore the number of students, total number of students, is equal to x into y, which is xy, right? Now look at this condition. If one student is extra in a row, there would be 2 rows less. So I consider the first case, case 1. If one student is extra in each row, then how would this arrangement look like? Now this arrangement, you have this way, student standing here. This was the initial arrangement, right? This was the initial arrangement, right? Where you had X rows and Y columns. Now what I do is in each row, I add an extra student. I'm giving crosses because I want to show that these are extras. Okay, so in each row, I add an extra student. So initially, how many rows were there? There were X rows, right? So if I'm adding one student extra in each row, now how many columns are there? Initially, how many columns did I have? I have Y columns, right? Now, how many columns do I have? How many columns do I have? Let me draw this. Let me write this in this manner. Initially, I had Y columns, right? Till this, till the extra student was added here. From here till here. How many were there initially? Y. I added an extra student in a row. So now how many columns are there?
So y plus 1.
Y plus 1. So now if you read the problem, what does it say? If one student is extra in a row, there would be 2 rows less. That means now how many rows we are getting here? X minus 2, right? Initially there were X rows. Initially there were X rows. Now how many rows we are getting? X minus 2, because it is mentioned in the problem that if I add an extra row, I'm getting 2 rows less. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
therefore, what is the total number of students? Total number of students is X minus 2 into Y plus 1. Now see, the total number of students will remain the same, whether in any way where they are made to stand. The total number of students will remain the same. Initially, how many total number of students were there? XY. And now how many students are there? X minus 2 into Y plus 1. So according to the problem, since total number of students remain the same, X minus 2 into Y plus 1 must be equal to XY. You agree? Yes, all of you agree or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we'll simplify
Sure.
this to get our equation. So if you multiply this, you'll get xy plus x minus 2y minus 2 is equal to xy. So now xy and xy will cancel from here. So what you are left with is only x minus 2y, and you take 2 on the other side to get x minus 2y is equal to 2. So this gives our first equation. Okay. Now we'll look at the second condition, case 2. What is the arrangement here? Let's see. If one student is less in a row, there would be 3 rows more. If one student is less in a row. So now what happens is that now my alignment looks like if one student is less in a row, then what happens? Okay, let me draw the third one also. Let me not draw this because I'm reducing the number of rows by students by 1 in each row. Okay. So now see, one student is less in a row. That means initially, which was the arrangement here? Initially, this was my arrangement, right? Now what I do is I remove one row from here. Or let's say I remove one row from here. This one I remove. Okay, I remove this one to get this one, to get this. Okay, so I've reduced one student in a row. Now, if I reduce one student in a row, how many columns do I have now? Initially, I had
One.
y minus 1. So now I have y minus 1 columns, right? So what is it said according to the problem? If I reduce one student in a row, there would be 3 rows more. So now, once I've reduced one student, how many rows are increasing? Initially, I had x. So now I have x plus 3 rows. Now, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Total number of students. In this case is x plus 3 into y plus 1. But again, total number of students remains the same. Initially, I had how many students? X into y. So this must be equal to x into y. So x plus 3 into y plus 1. In fact, y minus 1, not plus 1. This should also be a minus. Is equal to xy. Now this will give our second equation. We multiply xy minus x plus 3y minus 3 is equal to xy. So xy and xy will cancel from both sides. You will get minus x plus 3y is equal to 3. This is our second equation. Now we need to solve these two equations. First, write the two equations together, and then we'll see which method to use. The first equation that we had got was x minus 2y is equal to 2. And the second equation that we got is minus x plus 3y is equal to 3. If you look at the two equations together, what you see is that x has one, you have plus x, and the other you have minus x. So obviously, if you add the two equations, you will be able to cancel x. So you add that two equations first. So x minus 2y is equal to 2, and minus x plus 3y is equal to 3. Adding. This gets cancelled. So you get 3y minus 2y equal to y, and 3 plus 2 equal to 5. So you get y is equal to 5. To get the value of x, you put it in any of the equations, putting y is equal to 5. Let's say I put it in 1. We get x minus 2. Y here is 5 is equal to 2. That means x minus 10 is equal to 2. That means I get x is equal to 10 plus 2. Means x is equal to 12. Okay. So how many rows did I have initially? I had 12 rows. And how many columns did I have initially? I had 5 columns. Now here the question is, find the number of students in the class. Now once I have found x and y, what was the total number of students in the class? X into y, right? Hence total number of students in the class. Equal to xy, which is equal to 12 into 5, which is equal to 60. That's it. Okay. So I'll stop here.